Communications management, very important. 90% of the time of project manager is spent in communicating between
Communication.
different stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
What is communication? Sending of message. Sender sends a message, goes via medium to the recipient. That's the
Recipient.
basic model of communication.
Right.
There is no initiating process group or closing group in this knowledge area.
Okay.
Planning, execution and monitoring.
Okay.
Plan, manage and control. We will see what are the different ways of communicating within the team, across the team, between stakeholders, different stakeholders, what is the priority, what are the different communication methods and models, and how the communications are controlled. Project communications management includes the processes that are required to ensure timely and appropriate planning, collection, creation, distribution, storage, retrieval, management, control, monitoring, and the ultimate disposition of project information, basically making each and every team member or stakeholder of the project know what is going on in the project at any point in time. There are different dimensions of communication: internal, external, written or verbal. We are going to see each of them in detail.
Sure.
What is communication? Communication is nothing but the activity of conveying a meaningful information, not data. Data is random, information is processed. It has certain logic to it, whereas data does not. Formal, potential dimensions of communication: internal, external, formal, informal, vertical and horizontal. Basically, horizontal and vertical aspects of communication are across business units or functional areas,
Okay.
like the IT management. IT guys are meant for everyone in a organization, whether they are from the finance department or the technology department. So they are horizontal,
Mm-hmm.
they are common for all. Verticals are like the finance areas, the technology areas, or other business logic areas. Written, oral,
Sure.
verbal and non-verbal. Verbal is voice modulation, the inflection of voice,
Right.
how something is said or
Mm-hmm.
how something is communicated by way of words. And non-verbal is body
Okay.
language. Plan, manage and control. So there is no initiating or closing process groups. It's the process of developing an appropriate approach or model for project communication based on stakeholders' information, needs and requirements, and organizational assets. Not every stakeholder of a project needs to be informed of every event of the project at all the times. The benefit of this process that it identifies and documents the approach to communicate most effectively and efficiently with stakeholders. Team members are also stakeholders. So within team and inter and intra-team communication.
Right.
There are few important considerations in planning communication management, like who needs what information and at what point in time, who is authorized, which format, what is the template, language, or the frequency of communication. These are
Mm-hmm.
certain considerations. There are cultural considerations as well. Something which is appropriate in a certain language might not be in a different language or culture. Stakeholder register, EEFs and OPAs. Communication technology is the technology used to deliver the communication, whether it is over phone or email or written or courier or parcel, fax, different communication
Mm-hmm.
technologies.
Right.
If the team is co-located, meetings could be another tool for communicating. Communication methods: interactive, push and pull communication.
Okay.
Interactive is where the user of an information system has the freedom to see the communication or the information that he or she is looking for specifically
Okay.
out of all the available communication information available. That is interactive communication. Like SharePoint, push communication and pull communication. Push is the common example of push communication is the mailers that come from the HR department or the IT department from time to time to the employees. Those are
Right.
push.
Push communication. And can you come again with the pull communication examples?
Pull communication, no, I am not yet started. I have not yet started with pull. Pull communication is
Okay.
the common repository or is the like SharePoint or a network drive where all the data or all the related information of a project are
Can be,
stored,
okay,
and the team member or the stakeholder, according to his convenience and requirement, can pull the information from a common placeholder.
got it.
The difference between pull communication and interactive communication is there is no scope of interaction or clarification in pull communication. It is one way, whereas in interactive communication, the user
To both ways.
can, yeah, the user can get clarification on the, some examples are like phone calls or IMs or video conferencing. Those are interactive communication ways. Communication channel. Communication channel is the number of ways information can be passed from a team member to another. The formula is n into n minus 1 by 2.
Where n is the number of people.
Yes, where n is the number of team members in the project or number of stakeholders of the project. Stakeholders would be more appropriate term. A functional manager, for example, is a stakeholder in a particular project but might not be a project of the project itself, project team itself. So the more the number of team members or stakeholders in a project, the higher is the number of communication channel. Communication methods, interactive push and pull. Pull communication is implemented where the amount of information is large
Okay.
because it cannot be then sent over an email or a common medium of communication. That's why
Okay.
it's shared at a common place like a shared folder or a network drive or the PMIS itself.
Mm-hmm.
Sender, message and receiver. A
Mm-hmm.
medium, any medium, like any medium of
Mm-hmm.
anything, it will have a noise. Noise is nothing but the lack of efficiency.
Efficiency.
So there is no noise in email communication. So there the noise is overwhelming number of mails or mails not getting delivered
Mm-hmm.
properly because of storage overflow of storage. So that's the noise or the inherent if inefficiency that comes with the medium of a communication is noise. Encoder and decoder are usually used to encrypt the knowledge so that unauthorized access of information or communication is prohibited. Verbal, also known as paralingual, which is nothing but pitch and tone of voice while speaking. Effective listening. Listening is also a very important communication model. Listening includes not listening isolatively or not listening selectively to certain things, asking for clarifications and providing clarifications. Communication management plan, the entire know-how of communications within the project team. Escalation process and management chain for each level of escalation. Why is escalation required? In case one communication medium has malfunctioned, which has obstructed the flow of communication within different teams of a project, the project manager will escalate it to a proper authority. For example,
Right.
IM is not working between teams in India and US. The project manager will take it up with the IT team. So that's why escalation process or escalation hierarchy and management chain for each level of escalation. Frequency and status is a sample communication management plan.
Okay.
Managing communications, the process of creating, collecting, distributing, storing and retrieving information which is at the disposal of the project manager. It gives the benefit of this process is that it gives all the stakeholders a picture of project status. Communication tools and techniques, communication technology models, methods, IMS, information management system, which is similar to PMIS and performance reporting. Project document updates, controlling the information or controlling the communication between different stakeholders, how much of information is available to whom at what point in time, and whether
Okay.
the communication methods established or put in place are working desired in a desired way or not. That is communications control. Expert judgment is a tool and technique of communication control. A new technological advancement in the industry might be impacting the project team. So a particular SME in the project will use his expert judgment to control the communication A new Microsoft product might achieve the project goals more efficiently. So he will send this information to the selective people are he thinks are made to be aware. So that is expert judgment. Issue logs input. Issue logs will have all the issues related to anything. So a particular communication method or model which was not effective will give the project manager information that what are the limitations of a particular method or model. That's where issue log will come into picture. Formal written, informal written. In many organizations, the word of mouth is taken as formal communication. In a lot of industries, word of mouth by a team member or a stakeholder to another is taken as formal agreement or formal communication. Paralingual or verbal communication, intonation or modulation of voice. Non-verbal is body language.